Okay, not only is it not Sunday, it's not a battle report either, it's just me talking while painting. That seems to be the current craze on YouTube. I thought I'd give it a go. Probably just be me rambling, I don't know, just really to relieve the boredom while painting. So I've run out of YouTube videos to watch. So, yeah. So, painting Beastman. Someone's got to. Yeah. This is mainly for the, doing this for the upcoming Giant Hammer 3. Anyone who watches Mr. Reef's channel will have heard of it. Luckily I was one of the lucky people to get invited to it, which we went to just at the start of December, at the end of November, and we had a really good time. Luckily Mr. Reef said to us, like, you know, you need painted armies, and me and Si, well, anyone who's seen any of our battle reports will know that we're not so keen on painting. It's not that we don't like it. We were really into 40k prior to getting into Warhammer, and we painted quite a lot of those armies. And then as yeah, I think we just burned out on that really. So so I had a Space Wolf army and a Grey Knight army. So I had Blood Angels and any other type of marine army you could imagine. But I think we got fed up with painting Space Marines, to be honest. So when we got into Warhammer, we painted our initial armies, which is my Warriors of Chaos and Si's Skaven. Then after that, we just started buying armies because we were addicted to it, and the painting kind of got left behind. Yeah. So, but now we're getting back into it because we've been shamed into it, which is always my best motivation when I see other people with beautiful painted armies, and they make me feel bad. So. But yeah, so it really motivated me to get my vampire counts done. So I've got 2,400 points painted now, which is nice. Still got some other things I need to paint, but yeah, that'll come. But right now I'm getting my Beastmen done for the upcoming Giant Hammer 3, like I said, which is towards the start of March. So I've got, like, I don't know, 6 weeks. But thankfully it's, well, I'm not sure about the points value yet, but I'm pretty sure it's around 1,500. So, yeah, about nearly halfway. So I've got a bit of work to do, so that's what I thought I'd do. Just try and pass the time by making a small video. Yeah, we just had such an excellent time last time. It was only 6 of us, and it was just so relaxed, and, you know, I'd never been to a tournament before. Well, certainly not a Warhammer tournament. I've been to, like, Magic tournaments and that back in the day. But it's just a totally different atmosphere when you go to a place which is, you know, we played it out Warhammer World. So, and, you know, the atmosphere there's just great. You know, you can leave your stuff just laying around. No one's going to touch it because everyone's in the hobby together. And it's just an amazing atmosphere, you know, people side by side playing Warhammer and 40k, and even Apocalypse on one table, I think. But yeah, so that was really good. And certainly motivated me to get my stuff painted now because, like I say, Si's got a Realm of Battle board now. He's been painting scenery quite avidly, and it's looking awesome. So it seems a shame to have all this nice painted scenery, this board, and then have these grey Hordes, which was ironic really because the Grey Knight army I did is painted as a grey Horde. So yeah. So the one army I painted actually painted grey, so I thought it was quite amusing. But yeah, so yeah, so the Beastman initially I'm going to paint 1,500 points, and hopefully I'll still be motivated to paint some more. I ideally want 3,000 points of these done, which is kind of what I aim for with most of my armies, to have enough models to make a 3,000 point army that I like. So I sometimes go over that, but let's try to what I aim for, just to try and kind of vet how many models I actually own, because like I say, I kind of like buying armies on the cheap off of eBay in the middle of the night, almost on a whim. So but now I've got, I think I like 8 armies, 7 or 8 armies. Some, well actually most of them I'm pretty happy with. I've sold a few, I didn't quite like the Tomb Kings, had those for a while, but I ended up getting rid of them in the end. I don't know why, to be honest. I should have kept them, because I put a lot of work into assembling them, but I never got around to painting them. It's a shame, because they're really easy to paint. So well, my girlfriend now plays on and off when I can convince her, and she actually plays Tomb Kings, so it makes me wish I kept them even more now, because I had a lot of the models she uses. So that's a bit of a shame. But that was when I was first getting into Warhammer, and I thought, you can't own 2 armies. That's just ridiculous. So I think that's why I got rid of them. And I've also have a very small Wood Elf army, which I've only used once. The main reason I didn't like it, I think, is because I really struggled with it. All those chaff units, there was nothing really for him to send his Death Star into, and he loves his Death Stars. So even in 40k, he used to have these big old Blood Angel Death Stars in Land Raiders with apothecaries and that chaplain guy. It's obviously back in 5th edition, and it was pretty nasty. So he does love his Death Stars, but the Wood Elves were just too much for him. They were just running around shooting his guys. So yeah, he really struggled with that. I don't even know if we had it as a battle report. It might be on there. But yeah, so I didn't really want to play them because I just felt it wasn't much of a game, So I haven't really got around to doing them. But the other armies I have are obviously the Beastmen, which oddly enough is one of the armies I kind of had a sort of, I don't know, like a hidden secret for. It was like the my dirty little secret, liking the Beastmen. Obviously heard that they were really bad, and they were like the butt of all jokes. But I've always liked the aesthetic of them. I think I've always been a fan of the Sinbad film with Minotaur in, and obviously Torok's the brass ball. So he's obviously like the equivalent of that in Warhammer. So, and I've just the Beastmen in general. Their kind of lore, this kind of idea that they're this sort of dying race. That, remember this kind of other, this older world where they were sort of top of the heap, and now the technology is just sort of overwhelming them really. They just can't keep up, so they're kind of like dying off, but they're still these kind of proud beastmen like living in the woods. But yeah, well, I didn't read much of the lore, but I do like it, as an aesthetic. So that's obviously one of my armies. Mainly got into that because of Mr. Reef, in fact. He has apologised for. But it was one of the few people on YouTube who actually used the Beastmen as an army. I think it was even before Once Bitten got into doing Beastmen. So so it's kind of interesting to watch them because I don't know, they just seemed a bit. There was just an appeal to them. I can't really put my finger on it. But I must admit, they're not nearly as bad as I thought they were going to be. Primal Fury is just amazing, especially on Bestigor. It's one of my favourite things so far is the Horde of Bestigor. I really, really do like playing them. The same kind of points as Black Orcs, and yet that rerolls to hit just makes them so much better. And Minotaurs aesthetically are just really, they're beautiful. Although they are very expensive points-wise, but when you really think about it, I mean, they are expensive, but they're more than an Iron Gut, but really they give you quite a bit more than an Iron Gut. It's just their disadvantages, i.e. the Blood Greed, which is kind of the killer for them. The fact you're going to have to overrun, it's only going to be D6, makes you very predictable where you're going to go. So you only have to plonk something in front of it, and then an army with no shooting, that's a real problem. So I think that's really where their disadvantage comes from, not so much the points cost. But yeah, I'd rather have a -4 over an Iron Gut any day. But yeah. Anyway, rambling a bit about the Beastmen now. Well, I'd like to go on to talking about them more, but talking about armies at the moment. So so I've got the Beastmen, I've got the Orcs. The Orcs are great. They're just such a. I was thinking of them as like the Empire army for people who don't want to win, because they're so unreliable. Animosity just was a killer. Although I must admit I'm quite lucky with Xanos, so I haven't really had much problem with it. Although, you know, I usually end up finding it on the Black Orcs, sorry, not the Black Orcs, the Savage Orcs. And then my wizard ends up not being able to cast any spells. Which is usually quite beneficial actually, because every time you cast Foot of Gork, it tends to get a miscast and blows up half a unit. I've been a big fan of having wizards in the front rank. Yeah, that's another story. Yeah, so we've got the Orcs. The Orcs are great. One day I will get around to actually painting them. It just seems so daunting at the moment, because they're, you know, there's so many types of units and that. It's not just one kind of paint scheme to use. Which I find painting rank and file, I kind of need to just be in the zone with that one sort of paint scheme. Which is why Beastmen work, because it's pretty much the same for all of them. So, same with the vampire counts, quite a sort of, you know, very similar paint scheme for a lot of them. Yeah, so one day I'll get around to painting them. Although I've nearly, well, about halfway from painting my Savage Orc Horde, which is quite good. Painted a chariot, so at least it's something. Next up, obviously the vampire counts, which I really like. Got those for an amazing deal on eBay once. I've no idea what the guy was, obviously, I don't know, but to sell, you know, that amount of stuff so cheap was just excellent. So I was over the moon with that, and I think I've done them proud. So I've painted most of them now. It's certainly an army I enjoy playing. I've always liked the aesthetic of that as well, the idea of that necromancer leading all these guys, you know, sort of raising them up. Yeah, so they are a really good army though. You know, I kind of, it was a bit of a shame really, because I never really sort of played them with the other book, the older book, which I always liked, because I liked the idea of having a really reliable magic phase. So that was one of my favourite things in Warhammer, was the magic. But I like consistent magic. That's kind of what sways me to play armies sometimes, is just knowing that they're going to have decent magic rather than just relying on the winds of magic and like +4 from a level 4. So, and vampire counts could do that with that Master of the Black Arts, but now they're not quite as reliable. And in an army where you kind of need it, you know, it's a lot harder to have that reliable magic phase. But like I said, that's another story as well. So yeah, so we've got those three. What else? We've got the dwarves. Loving the dwarves. Also bad playing them though. That's why I haven't played that many games with them, to be honest. It's because I was going to end up with a gun line, mainly because a lot of my other armies don't really have any kind of guns or anything. So I like playing the gun line with them, but they murder ogres so bad. And you know, I don't want to crush Sly's spirit with these ogres, because he does love these ogres. But they just hurt ogres. Oh, it's just horrible. So I try and restrain. I might try like doing this kind of like combat-y style army. But Dwarf Warriors are great on paper, I think, but they die. Well, you can't really make them any better, which is fair enough. So it's not really there's anything wrong with them. It's just they seem to die so quick, and unless they're in a horde, you know, there's just no support for a Dwarf Warrior. You know, he hasn't got spells to support him, or, you know, rerolls or anything like that. So it's just him on his own. You know, like, you know, you're relying a lot on that weapon skill to get the hits through, which doesn't really contend with a lot of other horde, you know, like Savage Orc Biggins or Bestigor, or, you know, they just don't stand up to it. So the combat version of like Dwarf Army just, I don't know, it just seems doesn't seem like it's going to stand up very well. So, but then this new book's supposed to be coming out next month, so I'll be really interested to see what that brings. But once again, the dwarves are aesthetically pleasing to me. I just like the idea that, you know, you can have this tiny little army and it's going to be tough. So yeah, like them. And I've got a fair few models now, so looking to paint those up when the new book does come out, assuming I like it. If I don't like it, then so probably paint them up anyway one day. But they'll just go on the bottom of the list rather than near the top. Next up is Dark Elves, another army that I only got into because I found a cheap one on eBay, I think last year, the year before. I don't know, they're a really good army, to be honest. I liked the old book in terms of it was quite powerful, you know, well, it was just an alright book. You know, I wasn't overly. I don't think I would have got into Dark Elves if it wasn't for this cheap eBay purchase. So I mean, that's why I got into them, because they were cheap. And then I kind of enjoyed it, but I felt a bit bad playing it side, because the Dark Elves were just running rings around these ogres. Well, not his ogres, but he's what a player. I think it was mostly his high elves and demons and that, and they just run rings around them. They were just, you know, they were so much better. And the new book came out, and I actually preferred it to the old book, because I don't know, it just seems like so many options in there, and it you know, like, I can't speak for anyone else, but it just made it easier for me to play side with them, because they weren't nearly as like crazy. You know, there wasn't the you know, like throwing 12 dice at Occam's Mind Razor kind of thing, which I tried to avoid anyway. But you know, they just seemed a lot more balanced. And to be honest, I think the High Elf book is more powerful than the Dark Elf book, which is good, because side plays the High Elves, so I don't have to feel bad about like sort of fighting them. You know, it doesn't feel like it's so much a kind of, oh, I'm just playing Dark Elves to beat High Elves. Now it feels like it's quite a fair fight. Although recently we had a game, we agreed that I wouldn't get the rerolls to hit from hating High Elves, just because if I'm going to play them, you know, regularly, I don't want to feel like I've got this massive advantage over him. So we've just been doing that recently, just while I've been playing them quite regularly. So that seems to work out quite well. You know, just kind of, you don't need it all the time. You don't need rerolls to hit every game. You know, it's nice, obviously, but it just feels a bit cheesy when playing the same person over and over again, and you've got this huge advantage against their army. And consequently did win that game, but hey. Yeah, so you've got the Dark Elves, quite like them. Too many metal models in it, in my opinion, though. Yeah, obviously I had the old models, so and to replace them to the new plastic ones is going to require a small bank loan, so not too interested in that just yet. So you're probably not going to see those painted for some time, because I absolutely hate painting metal models. I'm just so scared of chipping them and then having to paint them again, so I try and shy away from that. Yeah, so they're good. Although I did manage to pick up 10 Witch Elves off of eBay. It's not that I begrudge Games Workshop getting my money, they're more than welcome to it. They've got most of it already. It's just, well, I think anyone who's looked at the price of Witch Elves will know exactly what I mean. I won't get into that. But yeah, so I do actually have a couple of Witch Elves, which I absolutely love. Those models, they look amazing. Just a shame I can't get a few more. But I have the old ones, so they'll have to do. They're one piece, so they're not so bad as like Blackguard with those bendy old halberds. So I just have to live with that. But yeah, so they're I prefer them now. You know, like the Executioners look amazing. They're like really nice models. The Blackguard look pretty good. Witch Elves looking really good. So aesthetically, that's quite a nice army now. One day I will get around to painting it, but not anytime soon. So I've got a bit of backlog. Next up was the Warriors of Chaos, which, like I say, it is the first Warhammer army I ever had. Well, prior to like being a rather hodgepodge Skaven army, sort of, you know, I was at school when I thought I was going to get into Warhammer, but never did. I just carried on playing Epic and 40k. Well, mainly Epic, but so yeah. So I never really got into Warhammer, although I did attempt to collect an army. So Warriors is really the first army I ever had, and I almost painted the whole army. Well, yeah, pretty much most of it. And when we started out, we played like these like 2,000 point games and got up to 3,000. Unfortunately, Skaven are really good at killing armoured warriors, so yeah, that was tricky. Dreaded 13th is just horrible. We started playing when 8th edition came out, so we never played 7th. So I think, well, Side played like Warhammer a long time ago, like Undead and Dark Elves, I think. But I never played him back then. He played another mate of mine, although we played like 40k together and that. But Yeah. Well, I've been doing more talking than painting, but I'm starting to get there. Yeah, so we got the Warriors of Chaos, which I really like the old book. It was great. I like the new book. There's a lot of options, but the trouble is, I was a really big fan of the Demon Prince, and in the old book, I used to take it because I liked the model. Although his rules were horrendous, he was really bad, and most of the time he'd hide behind a barn, and that was it. Because I don't know, you just used to cast like Infernal Gateway from behind the barn. And for over 500 points, I was more than happy to keep him behind that barn and not feel bad about it. But now he's like a combat beast, which is excellent in a way, but I think they went a bit over the top with him, to be honest. It's just that combination of all that stuff that's quite cheap. You know, you can fit it all on, and he's just horrible. You know, I've had him kill an entire Gut Star on his own, which is just disgusting, really. So yeah, I feel bad about using him. I like him, but I can't play it against him in friendly games. It's just too much. And as I said, I don't play in tournaments, so so I just feel bad about using the army in general. And I was inclined to take Demon Prince just because, like I say, I love that model. It's one of the reasons I got into Warriors of Chaos in the first place. So I try and just avoid them at the moment. Maybe if Sai beats me too many games in a row, I'll get them out. But I haven't played his high elves with them, so I think they'd be quite good against him actually. You know, Sai's kind of started to think about bolt throws more, so let's try that. But yeah, they're a nice army. I think the trouble with the new book though is it changed so much from the old book. You know, warriors are kind of like a bit slow now and don't really fit in with the faster elements. The knights are just kind of replaced by skull crushers and stuff. So all the stuff I have painted isn't necessarily the kind of thing I'd want in the army, which is a shame. You know, like the loss of the blasted standard. You know, like the 4-up ward one on the knights, just makes them a bit kind of, you know, I wish they weren't Zinch kind of thing. I wish they were like Nurgle or something. But yeah, so kind of put that one's aside. I'll keep that army though because I spent a lot of time painting that army and I do like the look of it. But yeah, maybe I'll put it out one day. But next up was the Empire, which I've never painted a single model for apart from my general, which on the Griffin. I haven't painted the Griffin yet. It's because my girlfriend bought it for me for Christmas, and I love that model. It looks really good. Game-wise, not so good, but I have had a bit of success with it, mainly because I'm so unlucky with these cannons. They'll pretty much survive anything. If I take a monster, I know it's not going to die because I can't kill anything with a cannon. It's not even funny. We have proof now. The guys at Warhammer World witnessed it. So it is the most unluckiest person you can imagine when it comes to cannons. It's not even funny. So I'm probably the only person, I don't know, in this community that actually takes monsters and knows that they'll be alive by the end of the game, unless they fight Noblars, of course. Yeah. But yeah, at least a cannon fire anyway. So I'm going to have a reality check next time I play someone else, because you know, everyone says that cannons are the Antichrist as far as monsters are concerned. Which I just have no doubt. I mean, I've murdered plenty of size monsters with cannons with my dwarves and Empire, so it's just Sai just doesn't seem to be able to do it. Which is a shame because yeah, it's a shame that monsters just aren't very good. But like I said, we kind of read up on the rules, and if you use True Line of Sight, which, you know, most people will, as long as it's advantageous to them. But if you use True Line of Sight for monsters, you actually have to see the point where you're shooting. At least that was our interpretation of the rules. So if you can hide the points where they can shoot the cannons, then at least you have a bit of an advantage with it. And we've certainly been looking into using more terrain, because you know, just to block lines of sight and that, when you're sitting on a hill on a barren plain, of course the monster's going to get shot. There's nowhere to hide it, so that's another option. But yeah. Yeah, anyway, that's a debate for someone else. But yeah, so, right. get on with painting this model. Yeah, so I'm painting the Bestigor Champion at the moment. I'm sort of batch painting them, but this is the one I'm just kind of focused on at the moment. Since I don't seem to be very good at talking and painting at the same time. So, other armies, I think that's all the armies I have actually. I can't think of another one. Yeah, like I say, 40k ways of Space Wolves and Grey Knights. But yeah, they're almost painted. But like I say, I kind of fell out of love with 40k when 6th edition came. I just find it a really complicated book. I thought 5th edition was great, and I had a lot of fun with that one. The 6th edition just made it fiddly, this idea of like rolling dice one at a time and looking out sirring, and you know, I preferred the old wound allocation thing. It just made it so much quicker, which obviously benefited some units like Mornfang Cavalry and Grey Knight Paladins, although I never actually got to use the Grey Knights, as I kind of got into them when 6 came out, so I never actually got to abuse that. Although so I did when I first got into it, when Grey Knights first came out. But yeah, but it was certainly nice on Mornfang Cavalry. But now it's just like, you know, a guy standing in front taking all the bullets, which is, I don't know, it's just a different game. I think it's like slight Warhammer in a way, in terms of like you practically have to be in a formation with the guy at the front. And I don't know, it's just too fiddly, this idea that if a guy's a bit closer than another guy, then he's the one who's going to die first. So it's too easy to manipulate who you're going to shoot, which is one of the things I hated about 4th edition 40k. You know, if a guy's poking his head out of a building, he's the one who dies, which makes sense from a physics point of view, you know, in terms of like the real world. But it's not a real world game, you know. Ordinarily people would duck, which obviously these models can't. So you can't really apply the real world to game rules. But yeah, so not such a fan of 40k, to be honest. Not at the moment anyway, I'm sure. Although I think I've completely lost touch with it, because I hear, well, I know you can have allies and that, but now there seems to be loads of combinations, and there's this escalation thing with the super heavies, and something to do with terrain as well. There's like extra terrain you can buy for the second Force Org, and I don't know, it just kind of bewilders me now. So yeah, I'll be waiting for the hopefully a less complicated edition to come out before I get back into that. I think I don't mind playing it, but it's kind of, I think I'll just get lost in the whole flying, you know, Helldrake thing. Everyone seems to have Helldrakes no matter what army they're playing. There's like 3 Helldrakes in every army, or some equivalent of it. So I did actually own a partially assembled Storm Raven, but I never actually used it. So yeah, missed a bit. Yeah, so yeah, I think it's covered all the armies I have. Like I say, my main interest at the moment is Warhammer, obviously. It's pretty much all we do on the channel is play Warhammer. You know, I haven't done a video like this before. I don't know, I just didn't think I was interesting enough, to be honest. I'm probably still not, but at least this passes the time when I'm attempting to paint something. Yeah, so kind of got into Warhammer like 3 years ago, probably. But it kind of started when with my mates, and we realised he was still collecting 40k stuff. And then we instantly got back into it, as we had armies kicking around in the like lofts and stuff. So we kind of dug them out after we realised he was still playing it for all these years. And then, I don't know, my mates said that he was getting interested in the On the Blood box set. And I said, no, you don't want to do that. You know, it's just another distraction. You should be focusing on your Warhammer, your 40k. But then one day I woke up and said, hey, actually, let's try Warhammer, because I've never played it, and he'd played it in the past, so... And, well, there you go, and then I really got into it. He initially bought the On the Blood box set, and I said to him, well, you know, if you want to do Skaven, I'll do High Elves. And he said, no, I want to do both, Cyber and Psy. So, which, to be fair to him, he did get into both quite heavily. So I said, well, look, I'll do Warriors of Chaos then, because I was fancying them. I was like the Demon Prince and the Warriors themselves. So that's how I got into it. But yeah. I can't really think of anything else to say at the moment. Yeah, we've been running the channel for a while now. The channel's mainly just kind of record our games. I was like looking back on them, you know. I always enjoyed that. We used to do, well, we attempted to do like photo battle reports, but it just found it a bit tedious. This format kind of suits us because it's just taking a small video at the end of each turn, which I think is quite unique because obviously we play each other so often. You're getting both persons' views of the game. So, you know, it's just kind of suited the way we play. You know, we didn't want to get too heavily into interrupting the game, so we wanted it to flow. So this is quite easy, and we're so used to doing it now. When we don't do it, it actually feels a bit weird. Let's say we went to Giant Hammer. We didn't actually do any videos at all, and it's kind of a shame really, because I really enjoyed those games, and I would love a record of them to just watch them again. So yeah, I kind of missed it really. Would have liked to have, you know, just seen those again. Particularly the armies we're playing against. So there's some really nice stuff there. I mean, Owen's Beastmen look amazing. As do Martin's Warriors of Chaos. I think they look really good. Well, in fact, all the armies look really good. You know, it's such a pleasure to play against these kind of painted armies. You know, it really makes a difference. And then with that, the paint board as well. It's kind of always the dream of Warhammer, I think, is, you know, to play fully painted armies on a fully painted board. I think you just kind of lose sight of that sometimes when you're playing. You know, these current sort of rush of army books, the excitement to play a new army, you kind of like leave the painting behind. I know I certainly do. But, you know, I'm starting to catch up now. I'm kind of settled with the armies I have. Tried most armies now. At least the ones that appeal to me aesthetically. Like I say, Elizabeth never really appealed to me. Don't really like the look of them. Bretonians did, but I had them for a little while. I don't know why I got rid of them really. I think I just had too much stuff and I had to get rid of something. But yeah, they're kind of like someone put, the ugly stepchild of Empire. They're kind of like, I don't know, just Empire just do everything better. So I think they're for more hardcore, you know, players. In terms of, they're just a hard army to play. I think, you know, they just don't suit this current kind of environment. I say environment like I know what I'm talking about. You know, these big. Well, lucky for you, the video cut out and you missed a bit of that, so wasn't that interesting, saying about Bretonians. Apologise to any Bretonian players who were even remotely interested in that, but I don't know what I'm talking about anyway, so you're spared of that. Yeah, so I've kind of run out of things to say, and then there is the phone had cut out, so might as well leave it there for now. Like I say, I'm not really getting much painting done anyway, and I really need to get my finger out with this. So I'll probably try this again if I can think of a you know, more interesting subject matter rather than just rambling. But for now, I hope this hasn't been too boring, and I hope you've enjoyed listening to my voice as I try and concentrate on doing other things. Yeah, maybe I'll try it again. Like I say, with something a bit more focused. But I'll leave it for now, and let you know this Bestigor goes. You might actually see some of my models on one day. Maybe want to get a slightly better camera rather than my phone. So yeah, you can't see that at all. It looks black. Yeah, I'll show you. There's some paint on there somewhere. Yeah, so we'll leave it for now. and maybe I'll do another one. Although you'll probably see the battle report before this, there is a battle report coming up with Dark Elves versus High Elves, and we're looking to do a rematch next week between the same armies, although slightly tweaked, so that'll be a 3,000 point game, so hopefully you enjoy that. So we'll see you next time.